Hello, and welcome to the MindCep Podcast. This is your host, Alex Muir, helping you flex your mind, body, and soul. And today's episode 98 is on nature therapy, how to reduce stress and anxiety by connecting with nature. So I want to start off with this episode by first talking about something new that I've been working on for the last, I'd say 2 months or so. It is my 30 days to maximum energy with science-inspired hacks, my freebie guide that you guys can download. I will put the link in the show notes description there for you guys to download it. It's free. It will always be free. And it's a little tool or guide that I've created for everyone to help you maximize your energy, to build more energy over the next 30 days and beyond by utilizing nutrition, sleep optimization, stress busting techniques like meditation, mindfulness, breathing techniques, and also quick workouts to help you reset your mind and reset your body for better energy. So I'll put the link in the show notes description at the end of this episode, but without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to the MindCep Podcast, where we explore topics related to mental health and well-being. I'm your host, Alex Muir, and I'm so glad you're here with me today in this episode because we're going to be talking about the importance of getting out in nature to improve your mindset and mood. This is a topic I'm extremely passionate about, and I think it's especially relevant and timely given the challenges and stressors that we're facing during the pandemic. Many of us throughout the pandemic are spending more time indoors, isolated and glued to our screens, which can take a toll on our mental health. But there is a simple and powerful way to counteract these negative effects, and that is to connect with nature. Speaking of connecting with nature, I actually got out yesterday with my wife to go on a little nature walk, and we're going to be going for another one later this afternoon. And even though it's overcast, it's still mid-February of 2024. It's still important to get out there, and even though it is overcast and there's clouds in the sky, you are still getting sun, believe it or not. You just need more time outdoors on overcast days because the sun's blocked by the clouds, but it's still very bright outside. So still take the time when it's overcast days, 10 to 20 minutes at a minimum. And if you can do more, 20 to 30 minutes or more. So myself and my wife, for example, did an hour walk in the woods, and it just felt so therapeutic, and it just helps reset the mind and also just makes your mind and body feel very, very good. So I just wanted to mention that. Now, where was I? Yeah, nature is not only beautiful and inspiring, but also the healing and beneficial for our well-being. In this episode, I'm going to share with you some of the evidence-based benefits of nature, as well as some tips on how to connect with nature in different ways. So let's get started. One of the main benefits of spending time in nature is that you reduce stress and anxiety. Stress is natural and inevitable part of life, but when it becomes chronic and overwhelming, it can have serious consequences for our physical and mental health. Stress can cause headaches, insomnia, fatigue, muscle tension, digestive problems, and more. It can also trigger or worsen anxiety disorders, such as panic attacks, phobias, or obsessive compulsive disorder. Anxiety is a feeling of fear, nervousness, or worry that interferes with our daily functioning and quality of life. Anxiety can cause racing thoughts, palpitations, sweating, trembling, shortness of breath, and more. It can also affect our mood, behavior, relationships, and self-esteem. So how can nature help us cope with stress and anxiety? Well, nature can help lower cortisol levels, the stress hormone, and calm the nervous system. Cortisol is a hormone that is released in response to stress, and it prepares our body for fight or flight. However, when cortisol levels are too high or too low, it can cause problems for our health and our well-being. Nature can help regulate cortisol levels and balance our hormonal system. Nature can also calm the nervous system, which is composed of two branches, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic branch is responsible for activating the stress response, while the parasympathetic branch is responsible for restoring relaxation response. Nature can help activate the parasympathetic branch and restore relaxation response, which means lowering our heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing rate, and relaxing our muscles. There are many studies that show the positive benefits of nature on stress and anxiety. For example, a study by researchers at the University of Michigan found that spending at least 20 minutes in nature can significantly reduce cortisol levels compared to spending time in an urban setting. Another study by researchers at Stanford University found that walking in nature for 90 minutes can decrease activity in the brain region that is associated with rumination, a form of negative thinking and that can contribute to anxiety and depression. These are just some examples of how nature can help us manage stress and anxiety, and there are many more studies to support this claim. Another benefit of spending time in nature is that it can boost our mood and happiness. Mood is a temporary state of mind or feeling that can be influenced by various factors, such as events, thoughts, emotions, or hormones. Happiness is a more stable and lasting sense of well-being and satisfaction with life. Mood and happiness are closely related, and they can affect our mental health and well-being. Mood and happiness can also be influenced by nature. Nature can increase positive emotions such as joy, awe, and gratitude, and decrease negative emotions such as anger, fear, and sadness. Nature can also increase happiness by enhancing our sense of meaning, purpose, and belonging in life. There are many studies that show the link between nature and mood and happiness. For example, a study by researchers at the University of British Columbia found that spending time in nature can increase positive emotions and well-being, especially for people who are more prone to negative emotions or who have less access to nature. Another study by researchers at the University of Exeter found that living in areas with more green and blue spaces, such as parks, forests, rivers, or oceans, can increase happiness and life satisfaction, even after controlling for income, employment, health, and other factors. These are just some of the examples of how nature can help us improve our mood and happiness, and there are many more studies that support this claim. A third benefit of spending time in nature is that it can enhance our cognitive functions. Cognitive functions are mental processes that involve thinking, learning, remembering, problem solving, and decision making. Cognitive functions are essential for our daily functioning and well-being, and they can be affected by various factors such as age, health, education, or lifestyle. Cognitive functions can also be affected by nature. Nature can improve attention, memory, creativity, and problem-solving skills. Nature can also prevent or delay cognitive decline and dementia in older adults. There are many studies that show the impact of nature on cognition. For example, a study by researchers at the University of Illinois found that children with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, perform better on attention tasks after spending time in nature compared to spending time in urban settings. Another study by the researchers at the University of Utah found that backpackers scored higher on creativity tests after spending 4 days in nature compared to before the trip. These are just some studies of how nature can help us boost our cognitive functions, and there are many more studies that support this claim. So, as you can see, spending time in nature has many benefits for our mental health and well-being. It can help us reduce stress and anxiety, boost our mood and happiness, and enhance our cognitive functions. But how can we connect with nature in different ways? Well, there are many different ways to connect with nature, and they don't have to be complicated or expensive. Here are some practical and accessible tips to connect with nature. One tip is to visit green and blue spaces. Green and blue spaces are natural environments that have vegetation or water, such as parks, forests, gardens, lakes, rivers, or beaches. These spaces can offer us a variety of sensory, aesthetic, and recreational experiences, as well as opportunities to interact with wildlife and other people. Visiting green and blue spaces can help us enjoy the benefits of nature, as well as improve our physical health and fitness. You can visit green and blue spaces near you, or plan a trip to a national park or nature reserve. You can also join a local group or organization that organizes nature activities such as hiking, camping, bird watching, or gardening. Just remember to follow the safety guidelines and respect the environment. Don't litter and don't harm the plants or environment that you're in. And that concludes today's episode 98 of the MindCep Podcast on getting out in nature, nature therapy, how to reduce stress and anxiety by connecting with nature. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. And again, the MindCep Podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. And most recently, the MindCep Podcast is on YouTube. I'm going to start posting my solo episodes, my interviews, all to YouTube and to socials to show you guys short clips and segments from each episode. And again, if you want to connect with me, get to know me, my most active platforms are Instagram at mind, mind.cep at mind.cep on Instagram, or on TikTok at mind.cep, mind.cep. You can also visit me on my connect with me on Instagram and TikTok. All my podcast episodes are also recorded and sent to my blog, alexandermira.com/blog, and also on YouTube, like I mentioned. And one more thing to add, I also have the 30 days. I'm going to be posting it in the show notes description, 30 days to maximum energy with science-inspired hacks. I hope you guys be sure to download that free link. It'll be in the show notes description. If you want some other strategies or tools or resources that'll help you increase your energy over the next 30 days and beyond. And again, it's not a short-term fix to increase your energy. This is a long-term plan for sustained long-term vitality. Thank you all for listening.